I wanted to talk about the when I was in special ed, I guess you could call this advice from the special ed room. Special ed growing up, when I was initially put in there, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, so they literally in Hackworth where segregation had just ended, they literally labeled me a retard. That's not a joke. And put me in there. Uh, I have a comprehension disorder. I'm fucking weird. I won't understand something for the longest time, and then suddenly it'll click with me, and then I'll understand it intimately. Uh, but when I was in the room, there was a series of handmade, like, psychological books. One of them was there's this guy running with this light over his head, like he has his hands on it, and there's these two people that just start trying to beat the shit out of him. They run into him, and he's trying to go in his direction, being a good person. And that's like the whole thing, is this guy's like a good dude. As these guys are hitting him, he's like being nice to them, and they just keep hitting him. And the whole book is about how evil people can't stand good people. So they have to corrupt good people. Think like the Joker and Batman, how the Joker's like, your one rule, oh, I'm gonna make you violate it. Like, that kind of, because it's control. People that are like that have control issues. They want to prove to you you're just as shitty as they are. And this stuff, like, at the end of the book, they knock him down. They knock him down, and he drops the MacGuffin that he's running with. He's supposed to take it to the goal and become, I guess, like, his highest self, like a supremely good person, or whatever you want to call it. This guy gets knocked down, and the three dudes immediately start scrambling for the greatness, the light ball. And they're all just trying to steal it. And then when the evil dudes get their hands on it, the light starts going out immediately. And then the good dude comes for it, and they go, "Oh, if you touch it, you'll kill everyone. You'll kill everyone." And the good dude touches it, and the whole thing is basically like, "Oh no, if you touch it, we'll kill you." Is the whole thing. Like, they're threatening him, and he touches it, and the thing explodes and kills everyone. And the entire moral of this story is, like, basically never try to control things you can't control, because it's going to end badly. Or if it ends good, it's not going to be good in the way you think. These guys, they explains in the story, the guys stopped him. They successfully, through beating him and hurting him, they stopped him from becoming something great. They won. And the dude's response to just straight up touch the ball anyways, and, you know, they told him it would kill him if he did, and it ended up killing all of them. These guys were terrified for their own lives, because they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing to begin with. And they thought the guy, because he's a good dude, he wasn't going to do the right thing. He was just going to let them have it. And he didn't. And they explained in the thing, this book was super complex. Like I said, I remember reading it and just like, wow, people are crazy. But the whole thing is a kind of macrolism for how evil spreads. I don't even know what a macrolism is. I might have just made that word up. But it's how evil people try to convince you that their way of life is superior. And we got into it at Papa John's when Blondie kept calling me a coward. Mind you, this was after he poisoned me with aluminum, and aluminum makes you a coward. Okay? And then he just goes on about how I'm a fucking coward. You're a coward, you're a coward. And then in the middle of all this shit, I have a fucked up brain, I can't function, and I'm being terrorized by an asshole who's a piece of shit. Okay? And then I just giggled and looked at him, and I was like, you guys are the cowards because you only do what you do under the threat of death. And I remembered this, like, I want to go over this. When I was in Ackworth, Stu told me if I kept talking to Amanda, even though we were working together, and that's what started this thing. He's so fucking insecure. I was talking to Amanda at work. Fun fact, I hung out with Amanda outside of work one time at Chili's and Stu was there. I have never hung out with her outside of that. I was just working with this woman, and Stu was so insecure because of me, he tried to murder my ass. So he goes, I'm gonna kill you, spooky fingers, you know. And then followed by, he tries to kill me. He fails, because it's in his blood. It's what he does. He fails. And then he goes, because he failed to kill me, he has to kill me even more. And then he failed. And then he failed. And then he failed. Okay. And then he goes on about how the church has to kidnap me and they have to torture me to death and kill me that way. Because he can't live with the fact that he failed. Okay. And the entire time, I never backed down. I didn't. I never really took Stu seriously when he was talking about murdering every woman I loved. And then, like, obviously all that crazy shit, he's trying to frame me for it and failing again and again and again and again. And, dude, this is the stupid shit with these people. They don't count their failures. They don't learn from past mistakes. Stu hasn't learned anything. He just does the same stupid thing again and again and again. And inevitably, yeah, probably, maybe he'll get me. Maybe. I don't know. And people go, well, why don't... I'm trying to live my life, and you people have decided that's not okay. Fuck you. You are not God. Okay? And in your arrogance, you believe you are, and he's going to ask you about it. And as soon as you go, he goes, well, my guy Bobby down there, I was sending fat chicks for him, and you kept force-feeding them death, murdering them in horrible ways. I love my children, and you just kept killing them. So, why do you think you're getting here? Oh, I'm supposed to go get a planet. There are no planets. The only planet you're getting is hell, dude. You're going to hell. I was under the threat of death. You're a coward. We don't let cowards in heaven. Bobby didn't back down. Bobby didn't fucking stop. You people are cowards. And like I said, coming back to Blondie, I was like, you're a coward. And he immediately, I'm not. No, I'm under the threat of death. Victim. And then he tells me they're not allowed to be victims. Simultaneously saying, victim. I'm under the threat of death. I wouldn't understand it if I had to, but this is the thing, like, when I was in the special ed room, how to even get into this? I've always been a hard learner, and it's because my brain just doesn't work correctly. I'm not ashamed of it, it's just my nature. And there was this other story that was in there, and it was about this girl that says she's afraid of fish, and then this guy with control issues forces her to eat fish. And then she dies of a fish allergy. And then the guy gets mad and blames the corpse. Starts screaming at the girl's corpse. It's your fault for not telling me. It's your fault. And then God asked the guy, like, these were kind of like religious overtones. Like, why did you force her to do that to begin with? And the dude refuses to answer. He refuses to answer. And then eventually, after God keeps harassing him, he eventually just goes, I have control issues, okay? These books, they were, like I said, they were hand-drawn. They were written by somebody by hand and put into the special ed room to teach lessons. That book probably would have been a good thing for every member of this church to read. Because I realize in the position I'm in now, being forced to do things I didn't want to do for legitimate reasons. Here's a really funny thing about the EDTA. I talked about needing chelation therapy, and Anal Eating Mummy God was like, you can just take EDTA. You don't need doctor or medical oversight. The first dose I took of EDTA nearly killed me. That's not a joke. I took too much because I didn't understand it. I didn't know what I was doing. I assumed it was like taking a supplement. It's not. Now, I had to have a tooth taken out right there about 4 or 5 days ago. That's because the EDTA chewed through my teeth. That's what happens. And Anal Eating Mummy God lied to my face when he told me EDTA won't destroy your teeth. It will. That was a lie. Because that's what these people do. They lie. It's impossible for them to tell the truth. They couldn't do it if they had to. If you had them under the threat of death, they'd probably still lie. So, when I was in the dentist office, the lady had me in the chair, and they pulled the tooth, and there was an infection behind it, and I guess if the Uncle Ruckus and Stu, hold your dicks, because you're gonna love this. You're gonna want to start jacking off to this, or gooning. They goon. So you're gonna want to start gooning to this. They took the little scraper thing and started scraping inside my head, and this is the thing, my entire gum was numb, but the pain was like inside the bone. She was scraping the bone to pull out the infection, so I was in the chair just like fucking screaming my head off and crying, and it's funny because she's like, relax, it's okay. Oh my god. And then this was kind of funny. There was a little girl in the room beside us, and she said, the nurse came over and was like, he's scaring the little girl over here. And she was like, just like, tell him like he's a pussy and we're not hurting him. And I was like, great, you're fucking scraping nerves inside my skull with the little fork thing tearing up my head. Yeah. It's not pleasant. Dental shit's not pleasant. Fun times. I was kind of scared of getting the tooth removed, but I mean, it's whatever. But once again, this is another scenario, forced to do something I didn't want to do. Like, chelation therapy should be overseen by a professional. This is that libertarian shit with the... It's a obscure story. This libertarian decides he can do nuclear fission, so he does nuclear fission, but he ends up giving everybody radiation poisoning. Okay. This is what happens when arrogance and confidence is your standard, but I also remember when I was out there in the desert and Jasmine was telling me confidence is everything. The reason why rich people are rich is confidence. Confidence turns into arrogance, and then the thing they leave out is, once again, rich people have infinite tries. The poor class doesn't lack confidence. They don't have the assets to be infinitely confident. They know they have a finite resource, okay? This isn't complicated, it's stupid. Blondie didn't understand or believe that. He was like, you can just be as dumb as you want. No. There's more responsibility when you're poor. You can't just be an idiot like you. But this shit even feeds into filing Pro C and the back and forth. I don't even remember. He had some lady. The lady told me she fucking hated me and wished I would die. Like, I don't... And I was like at home on my computer, and I was tripping on LSD, and they were trying to teach me how to use some kind of portal to file Pro C. And I kept asking them questions, and they kept refusing to answer them. And you're not helping anybody if you're just refusing to answer questions, okay? But I've gone all over Florida now asking lawyers for help. All I need to know is what court I should file this thing in. But I think the other side is I need to factor in. I had when they poisoned my coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, that's when I had the heart attack. That was the strychnine and aluminum phosphide with the whatever shit. Their bullshit cocktail to give people heart attacks that doesn't work. They did that to me, and fucking... That's when the clock started ticking on my ass, because that's when they hacked my phone, and that's when they're going around showing people the video of me and the baby, and just doing all the horrible shit, because that's what they do. So, yeah. And I think that might have been close to 2 years ago, because I've been doing nothing but meditating and psychological recovery. I shit you not, there's this Vajrapani mantra I kept listening to regulate my heartbeat, because the Om regulates your heartbeat, and the Vajrapani thing was doing a great job of regulating my heartbeat. And as I was doing the Vajrapani things is when I first started remembering things. I have a theory that you have a conscious and unconscious memory, and I think the memories that were locked away from me were in my unconscious mind, and it just started, my conscious and unconscious mind started communicating again. This might feed into the dissociative identity disorder. Maybe the truth is with these people is the conscious and unconscious minds are fucking separated, so one mind has separate memories from the other. That way you can program the unconscious mind separately. That's just my theory. And I think that's where my memories came from, is my conscious and unconscious mind started bonding. And I think the amount of lead they put into your head separates those two. So you have a separation of the two, and you don't have proper connectivity between the two. Usually you don't have proper communication. So memories get lost in the process. That's just a theory. I don't know if that's what happened. But, yeah. So, I know everybody on the planet is going to try to stop me. As for filing Pro C, it's not a confidence thing with me, okay? I remember saying I didn't want to do that because I don't know how to do that, okay? And I remember Blondie, it's confidence, it's not confidence when somebody doesn't know how to do something, you dumbass. And I swear to, once again, dude, the wish I get from Anal Eating Mummy God, I wish to challenge Blondie to a game he doesn't know how to play, and if I win, he has to kill himself. And I just picture Blondie staring at me. What do I do? I'm not telling you. Hurry, Blondie, time's running out. Oh no, what do I do? Bang. It's just fucking stupid, because he's an asshole. That's why he did this. He's a piece of shit. I don't... Dude, another thing I remembered recently was when I went down there to break the window. I've never had this happen in my life, but my body refused to move. Like, that when I was a kid and Nick would beat me, I would seize up like that, but then it felt like hands coming out of the ground or your legs frozen in ice. I would step anyways. Okay, I didn't care, but I froze up for the first time, and I think Blondie, I guess, figured out at some point I was willing to fucking break a window in order to fucking go to court, and I mean, it didn't work. They refused to press charges against me. And I think he figured out I would attempt something like that somehow, and I think he hypnotized me not to do it. This is just him trying to stop me from stepping into my greatness or whatever. And this is a redemption arc. This isn't my greatness, my former self, all the really cool shit I did. That was the peak. Okay, Blondie, every church leader belongs in prison. Okay, this shit with their church is gone far enough, and any one of these church leaders could bring down the entire church. They're not gonna, because they do not care. Okay. They're under the threat of death! You think you'd want to do something meaningful with your life outside of drugs and have sex. But apparently the baboon brain dictates that's the only thing that matters is drugs and sex. So I guess we can pack it up and everybody can go home. Searching for your higher self is stupid. All you want to do is drugs and LSD. I picture Blondie. Self-righteous! He doesn't understand how important LSD is. I'm miserable all the time. I have a sorrowful soul, and I feel like shit, and I keep doing things that are against my values, and I have to pop LSD so I don't kill myself. You know why your body tells you to kill yourself, Blondie? Because it's a good idea. Stop overwhelming it with LSD. Sit down with yourself alone in a corner. Without your chaos drive active. Ask your brain what it really wants. It wants you to kill yourself. Trust me. I know, I can hear it. I'm telepathic. As for all the other church leaders, you want to kill yourself because it'll make the world a better place. God has said you are ruining everything because you're a piece of shit. Like, yeah. The other thing I learned in the special ed room that I think would benefit probably everybody at this church is always say, easy for me. Yeah. Easy for me is important because some things aren't easy for everyone. We had this kid that was really good at math, but he was horrible at writing. And he would go on about how math was easy. Math wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me, at least. But it was easy for him, but he was horrible at writing. There you go.